watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Welcome to another corporate events coverage, and this time around, BATV is on location at the Bank of Jamaica Auditorium, ready to bring you highlights from day one of the two-day conference dubbed A Call to Action, Driving Financial Inclusion with Digital Payments. I'm Javon Keys, and I'll be your host. Stay with us.
The DBJ is really proud to be associated with this event, with a focus that we have on driving the economy by looking at the role that we all have to play in championing Jamaica through each of our line of businesses, each sector, and each person. It is indeed appropriate, I think, that the theme of this conference is a call to action. Each representative in this room was not invited by coincidence. It was by assessing the vision that as to where we are, where we need to be, and who are the instrumental players needed to help us in this journey. And so it makes sense that the DBJ and the Bank of Jamaica would collaborate in this area. The DBJ, as most of you probably know, is mandated to provide opportunities for all Jamaicans, regardless of their social status, to improve the quality of their lives through developmental financing. The Bank of Jamaica is responsible for creating and managing the monetary policy that affects every Jamaican and every financial institution in the country. Therefore, coming together to hold a conference on financial inclusion and digital payments we see as a logical development of our relationship with the BOJ. But why is financial inclusion so important and digital payments that it merits a two-day conference? I believe it is important because when you look at the world's poor, including many Jamaicans, they live and work in what is known as the informal economy. Yet even though they have very little money, they still manage to save, borrow, and meet their day-to-day expenses. However, without access to the formal financial system that allows savings account, debit card, insurances, lines of credit, they rely instead on informal means of managing money. And these include, as we all know, family, friends, cash on hand, pawnbrokers, money lenders, or simply keeping it under the mattress. But, as we all know, these choices are almost always inefficient, risky, and expensive. And therefore, we encourage those who are regarded as the unbanked to become a part of the formal financial system, as it will provide benefits to the individual as well as on a national level. Simply put, we become part of something that is so much bigger.
My presentation this morning focused on financial inclusion, which really, and in particular, how do we get that significant section of our economy that is unbanked into the formal financial system. A significant part of our economy, of the persons who contribute to our economy, are still in the informal sector. We need to get them into the formal sector so they can access the benefits that would come with being a part of the formal financial system. So our role really is to encourage them, to educate them, to show them the benefits that can be derived from being a part of the formal sector. And in so doing, utilize the payment mechanisms that is going to be discussed here today. For example, the whole matter of mobile payments, digital payments, and other benefits that they would derive from coming into the formal financial system.
We are convinced that through this conference we can begin to build awareness and continue the conversation about the issues and challenges that must be resolved as we strive to develop and provide payment products and services to satisfy the needs of the average Jamaican consumer. We also see the need for tailored financial literacy programs that are integral to Jamaica's transition to the status of a digital economy. Over the next 2 days, we will engage in vibrant discussions on how innovations in electronic retail payments can impact Jamaica's development and how regulation can foster innovation. We will take an in-depth look at the risks and opportunities associated with digital payments and, most importantly, discuss how public-private partnerships can create a sustainable ERPS ecosystem. We will hear from our authorized ERPS issuers their experience with electronic retail payments. We will also hear from a micro entrepreneur on how electronic payments can help to grow his business. It is anticipated that arising from these discussions, we will all have a renewed commitment to the development of the ecosystem to promote the use of digital products and to unlock the potential economic benefits associated with increased digitization of the economy. Ladies and gentlemen, I declare the conference open, and with the wish that our deliberations will be fruitful. Thank you very much.
Driving financial inclusion through digital payments, that's what we're about today. The idea is to bring the regulators, the facilitators, along with some of the business partners into the discussion. And coming out of the dialogue today, hopefully we'll have a clear idea as to some of the challenges that are being faced by the various stakeholders. And we here at the Bank of Jamaica, we're about fashioning regulatory strategies to enable business, enable the growth and development of the financial sector. And we think that through engagement of our stakeholders, we will get certain insights which will assist us in discharging our responsibilities as a higher level of effectiveness. Well, the second day is going to be a little more of the same, but looking at perspectives of different stakeholder groups. Tomorrow what we want to do is pay a little bit more attention to some of the options, the opportunities that are available as we seek to unlock the growth potential in the sector. I think the major challenge that we face is designing products and services that satisfy the needs of the average consumer. And I think that has to be an area of focus for us. I'm not convinced that the taxi operator, for example, has the products and services that he needs to be more efficient and to reduce his cost. I'm not convinced. And I think that there are opportunities for us to, better serve the needs of consumers such as the taxi operator. And I'm hoping that coming out of the discussions over the next 2 days, that we'll be exploring those, issues.
And on that note, we go to a break. Stay with us. Much more after this.
Home is where all the sweetness, silliness, and beauty of life happens. Discover your style and express yourself with furniture from the Ashley Furniture Home Store. Visit any of our 2 locations at Ligony Kingston or Fairview Montego Bay. Find the most exquisite range of furniture in varying styles to suit your needs. So tell your story with elegant and affordable lounge, bedroom, dining pieces, and more from the Ashley Furniture Home Store. Here at Ashley, this is home.
As the end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa la 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 la? 60 advertising spots, 10 cross spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you, BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. Now let's join our presenter on stage.
The strategy of mobile payments, we think, is a win-win for financial inclusion. And let me explain a little bit this. If there is a country that goes directly to mobile payments without having gone through the previous stages of digital finance or buying through the internet, through traditional landlines, through the internet providers in general, we see internationally that the improvements go 10 times faster. So digital payments, mobile payments have two interesting notions for consumers. One, that they provide payments in real time. Second, that are cheaper. What's there not to like, right? And why do we think it's a win-win strategy for the different actors? First, for the unbanked. Of course, if you do not have a banking account, and I've heard that roughly in Jamaica maybe it can be around 80% of the population, 70, 80%. But nevertheless, almost 100% have a mobile phone. So that brings opportunities, right? They will see that by starting paying over the phone, they are building a data. And they exist in the virtual economy of financial transactions. So they can be later provided with some insurance or offered some small credit line to buy electronically. And that's what happened precisely in China, where the e-commerce has brought all these payments. It's a win-win strategy for digital financial providers. And we saw that we are not talking about the traditional ones, the banks, but also new active players that now they can be interested, like fintech companies, startups, e-commerce, internet providers, to finance and to bank this new market share that represents almost 80% here. For the public sector, because they can use it also to different things. I mean, people can use it to pay taxes. The public sector can use it to provide benefits, welfare benefits through the digital accounts, and to other ends. So Bill Gates already said in 1995, we need banking, not banks. Interesting. That's what's happening now. Banking is not a monopoly of the banks. It's a much bigger concept now. So we've seen in the recent years that this has been very true, because we've seen the fintech activities, so the advancement of technology and the open platforms has made possible that new players come to offer financial services.
Banking is it's a concept that is changing. So banks are working from traditional banking to digital banks and other actors that are coming. Bill Gates said in 1995, we need banking, not banks, and this is becoming very true. I mean, we see a lot of financial disintermediation and fintechs, big techs, internet giants getting into the financial sector. That's from observance to what's going on in China, in India, and in other countries. This is a win-win strategy for consumers. for unbanked population because they see that they can have access to more products. If start doing payments, then they can build transactional data. And this data is embedded into the system and they can be sold other products. And this is a win-win strategy for the digital financial services providers because they have access to population that has mobile phones, but they don't have a bank account. And finally, this is a win-win strategy for regulators because they can use these systems also to provide welfare benefits, payments, payrolls, and they can be used to pay taxes. And so the traditional concept of banking is changing. And if the countries like Jamaica that didn't have a previous digital strategy that includes using landline services, it is well researched that the countries that go mobile first or mobile only, the improvements are 10 times faster, which is good news also. In terms of safety, it's very important to collaborate with the financial inclusion programs. They collaborate with financial literacy. They need to be aware of what are the different methods that they can use, and it's driven also by a good, like the Bank of Jamaica is doing and has in their agenda to promote financial literacy, to promote the use of these new ways to conduct business and through the mobile in a safe way for consumers, in the sense that they can avoid fraud, or they cannot be hacked, or they cannot be put at risk. So they need to know better how to do it. But having been said, these are very easy to use ways. So for example, the social media messaging apps like WhatsApp is getting into payments. So what they are trying to do is to be very friendly used, and the consumer is at the center of the product. So you can use your app to pay, to buy cinema tickets, to use for taxes, to pay your taxes, to different things. So they are trying to do it so that it's very user-friendly.
We take our final break, but don't go anywhere. We have more highlights for you after this.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Thanks for staying with us. Now for more highlights.
GKMPay really have quite a few functionalities, and I think one of the things I've learned this morning is the use of collaboration, because I can see how easily we can collaborate with SMEs and other persons here. So basically, our functionalities allow us to load remittances to phone, and we must say here that we're one of the only mobile payment solution that can do that. So for instance, you walk into our Western Union location, and you can load the cash that you would now take out of that location onto your phone. right? So the functionality, as you see, is there. We do telephone top-up, so you can top up your phone, whether it's Line, Digicel, Flow. You can also pay your bills, because as I would have said earlier, we have a bill payment entity. So you can pay from any one of our existing biller listing. We have peer-to-peer transactions where you can send money to the other person. So I'm here today, I need to pay my helper, how do I pay her? I basically send her or transfer. If you notice, we talked also about what is going to make the customer change. Our portal allows us to have rewards. So basically, if you sign on as a merchant, you can offer discounts. So why use GK&Pay? You also have rewards. So if you look, you see a number 2 there. It means currently when you would open your phone and look at your phone, you basically have 2 coupons there from 2 merchants that you can now redeem. I think it's important that we talk about security, because it was also mentioned the issue of lack of trust. Why should I use my phone? Is it safe? In developing our product, that was something we had to take into consideration. So in terms of using it, you have a PIN. You have to use a PIN to get on. You have to use a PIN to complete your payment. When you go into our self-serve portal, which is again helping you to basically help yourself through this new journey that you're on in terms of becoming digital, there is a self-serve or customer portal that is self-serve. And of course, it's encrypted. If you leave your phone, it's locked, right? If you lose your phone, you do not lose your money. And I think that's also very important that we have to educate our consumers on. If you lose your phone, it's even safer than if you have lost your wallet or if you have lost your credit cards or your debit card. There's not this long process. You call the call center and you reactivate your phone. So the issue of security and development was integral in terms of the platform that we developed. So what were some of the challenges we were facing in terms of GK&Pay? And I heard it again from the previous presenter. The idea of educating our customers. There is still this lack of trust for the technology. You know, do I really trust that my money is going to be on my phone, that I'm going to be able to use it when and where I want to use it? What if I lose it? So how do we truly get our customers to embrace this new technology? We also have to educate them that it's safer, you know, to use the phone. I have in the audience, we invited the head of the Taxi Association here today, Alan Blair, right? And one of the things we've been saying is, as taxi men, collecting, how is it safe for you to be on the road all time of night with money on your body? So we're also promoting safety, but still we were having a challenge. So customers, merchants were really not accepting that this is a new norm. So we have launched GK&Pay. I want to go to KFC, but KFC is saying, what is GK&Pay? What's in it for me? And the customers are saying, I can't go anywhere and cash out, so why should I get GK&Pay? So again, it was interesting to see the 2 approaches in terms of top-down, bottom-up, and which do we think is best for Jamaica, because there's going to have to be, I believe, a regulatory push to get persons on board, right? So the issue of onboarding our merchants, our agents, our customers is truly a challenge. Which come first, the chicken or the egg? So what do we need? We definitely need education, public awareness, not only of our customers, but also our consumers. We really, again, I said, would like to thank the BOJ for this type of symposium, because we do think it's building awareness. However, we think it has to go much more than that. It has to reach to the public in terms of saying, I have confidence in this system. I'm validating this new payment system for Jamaica. It's how Jamaica is truly going to have a digital economy. So we truly need that endorsement from the Bank of Jamaica. We need integration with our payment system, with our banking system. So if you think about it, the taxi man, he collects his $100,000 for the night. What does he want to do? And we talk about financial inclusion. He wants to put that money in his bank account, right? So right now, he would have to go and cash out. We're saying he should be able to go to FGB, NCB, and lodge his monies to his bank account. And we think this is another integral takeaway of a symposium like this. We really need our consumer to be able to be bankable. And if we talk about true financial empowerment, true financial inclusion, this is the way we're going to get it. One of the things, and I said review of the wallet size, one of the things we also say is if we have our taxi man lodging these funds every day to his bank. He can get his GK M-Pay statement. Why can't he use that statement to say, this is my source of income? You know, this is my true, legitimate source of income. Whether it is to get a small loan, whether it's to get a loan for his daughter to go to college, we don't know. But these type of forward thinking is really what we need when we start talking about digital payments.
Okay, Quisk is in NCB's solution, NCB's mobile wallet offering. Essentially is a way that you can make a payment or receive payment without either plastic, and it's you use your phone number in order to you can use your phone number, go to the ABM and can do cash out from the ABM, or you can make a payment at a merchant. So if you were to go to a merchant and instead of swiping your card or insertion of your card, you enter your 10-digit phone number, then your 6-digit password, and then you can pay for your goods or services. So, and you can also do peer-to-peer transfers. So if we go to, let's say a group of us go to dinner and we go Dutch, we can just transfer all the funds to one person, and then that person can make the payment on the NCB terminal to pay for the dinner. We launched Quisk in 2016, and we've seen increased interest because of a number of changes we've made to the product, and we've made it a little easier as well for customers. So we see where there's been significant increase, and we have a number of quick service restaurants. So we've increased the offering, we've built out the ecosystem, and we continue to build out this ecosystem. So customers are seeing increase in value in NCB Quisk. Just about every merchant who has NCB terminals, you would be able to access Quisk. So for the newer merchants, they're signed up automatically with Quisk. But for merchants who have been in system for a long time, we continue to go through the process of adding Quisk to their terminals. So if there's any merchant that you'd like to use Quisk and you're not seeing where they have Quisk at this time, we can easily add them, because the same machine that any of our merchants have can process KeyCard, MasterCard, Visa card, can process multi-link debit card, process Amex, China Union Pay, Discover, JCB cards, and of course NCB Quisk. So the merchants don't require to have an additional terminal. So it's the same terminal that process all debit and credit card transactions that process Quisk right now.
The unbanked constitutes over 500,000 people, and we want to get them included. The government's policy of financial inclusion, and that's our aim. Our product is not as, what should I say, invasive as when you go to try and open a bank account. We have the Bank of Jamaica guidelines for the card, which is not as stringent. It's once you collect remittance from abroad, it's the same process. So it's not very difficult, but the difficulty is going to be education. How do you convince people who are not used to a product and what they perceive as a bank product? How do they get access to it? And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find ways to make it simple and fast. I think it's very timely, because without financial inclusion, the economy cannot grow. If you have half your population unbanked and doesn't have access to financial services, which means credit, just a regular bank account to do transactions, it's very, very difficult to maximize your potential. We went to a card product as opposed to the mobile wallet. Our products can also use mobile technology, but it's just an educational process, and that's long and hard. To convince somebody to put their money on a device like a phone, it's not an easy thing to persuade people to do. They don't have any confidence in it. They have never seen it, and how do you convince them that it is safe and this is going to be a very convenient tool? But over time, I believe Jamaicans are very technology savvy and hungry, and we hope that over time we'll have that.
That brings us to the end of part 1 of our 2-part coverage of the Driving Financial Inclusion with Digital Payments Conference. Until next time, I'm Javon Keys. Stay tuned to Business Access TV, serious about business.
Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, and you're watching Business Access.
It's the last Monday in the month. How have you been enjoying our Round the Bend series? If you haven't seen them or just want to revisit past ones, visit our YouTube channel. Your favorite magazine program starts with a word of advice, and then it's time for the news. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Stay with us.
Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. Keep we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it.
No dash no paper, no dash no plastic. Dispose your garbage responsibly. No know how to recycle, learn it quick. And if you drop it, better pick up every piece of it. Plastics last forever, don't forget the bits. Cause when them touch the street, them end up in the sea. Collect pan the reef where they fish them feed. And when you want seafood, I eat your
Keep
eat.
we island clean, so clean. From the peaks to the beach, so clean. No dirty up Jamaica, please don't do it. No dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica, no dirty up Jamaica.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Monday, October 29. Government is working on a policy to boost housing for public sector employees. Prime Minister Andrew Holness's government will be examining its land bank to see how public sector representative bodies can partner with the National Housing Trust to develop the lands identified.
We will work out a program on the housing front that I'm sure will be very enticing and attractive to our policemen and women, our nurses, our teachers, and our public sector workers generally.
Prime Minister Holness was speaking at the recent groundbreaking for Phase 1 of the Friendship Oaks housing development in St. Elizabeth. The NHT will be developing 229 housing solutions and 4.8 hectares of land at the site. Entrepreneurs and entities looking to invest in downtown Kingston are being urged to do so early in order to benefit from current investment incentives being provided by government. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service, Favour Williams, says it is important that investors move quickly as these incentives could end soon. She was speaking to residents and other stakeholders during last Thursday's town hall meeting on the development of Government Oval at National Hero Circle.
This urban renewal is one of the few remaining tax relief, and it does not have a long shelf life. So we invite you to speed up your decisions.
The tax relief given as an incentive to developers investing in Kingston's redevelopment is available in 4 forms. There is stamp duty and transfer tax exemption for approved developers acquiring land, plus income tax credits of 33 1/3 of capital expenditure available for approved developers to reduce income tax liability. There is also income tax exemption on interest received by approved lenders and tax relief for entities that receive rental income for properties. 10 institutions have been approved as Brain Builder Centers as government increases support for the early childhood sector. The $520 million Jamaica Brain Builders program was launched in July this year. Education Minister Senator Ruel Reid says since then, 22 memoranda of understanding have been signed with the approved institutions. The centers are being created out of existing early childhood institutions that are certified by the Early Childhood Commission, ECC. Minister Reid made the announcement in a statement to the Senate on Friday. The Jamaica Brain Builders program seeks to ensure that all Jamaican children get the best start in life. Under the initiative, the Early Childhood Commission will be responsible for establishing 126 Brain Builder centers, with 2 in each constituency across the island. Children will attend these centers at no cost to parents. Minister Reid says the approved early childhood institutions will receive support in terms of salary compensation for staff who work with children aged 0 to 3 years. Additional teaching or learning equipment will also be provided. The ministry will also cover the cost of cooks to provide nutritious meals and provide general and special grants to acquire early stimulation resources. The education sector will soon receive more than 10,000 ICT devices to assist students acquire necessary 21st century skills. Education Minister Senator Ruel Reid says the items are being donated by a Jamaican diaspora organization in the United States. He says the donation, which will include computer servers, laptops, and desktop computers, is in line with the ministry's mandate to encourage more computer-aided teaching in the classroom.
The target is to get every primary school, every high school fully wired, fully empowered in terms of the delivery and capability in terms of ICT and teaching and learning.
The Education Minister was speaking at a recent ceremony to officially open a new classroom for grade 1 students at the Mona Heights Primary School in Kingston. The new classroom was built, furnished, and outfitted with a state-of-the-art multimedia projector, flat-screen television, and a reading corner. The school's fundraising activities and stakeholder contribution financed the $3.5 million project. And finally, the Jamaica Information Service, JIS, has extended the deadline for the submission of entries in its 2018 Heritage Competitions from October 31 to November 4 at midnight. The annual essay, poster, and photography competitions target primary, secondary, and tertiary institutions. For the essay competition, students aged 9 to 12 at the primary level are required to write an essay on the theme, "How has Jamaican music contributed to the country's growth and development?" For the poster component, high school students are asked to submit original designs on the topic, "Jamaica's Music, the Stage for Growth and Development." Meanwhile, tertiary students will be required to submit a photo depicting the theme, "Jamaica's Music, the Stage for Growth and Development." Application forms can be found at jis.gov.jm. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
It's always beautiful in Jamaica. Everything usually be green and pretty. We have beautiful water. temperature that is normal temperature, the water never cold. We've been into business for about 13 years. JUSC-COOL, Just Cool. It's spelled with 3 0. We make 3 different types of pudding. We make potato, we make cornmeal, and we make toto. This is the cornmeal, okay? That's actually almost the last process. What he's gonna do now, he's gonna put a gel on top. Within no time, he has to take it off because the gel give it a nice taste. We have people like Shelley and Fraser came here. We have, you know, you could name the biggest artists, Shabba Ranks, name them all. Being the Man, they all come here and buy their pudding. This is what we grew up on. Now, when the people come to Jamaica, everybody, as soon as they land off the plane, this is where they come. They want to taste this pudding because it brings them back to the old days. The long time days when they was kids growing up and they used to sit on the fire and watch their mama, their grandmother bake the pudding. We try not to change off our roots, we try to keep it that way. And not only that, we have a lot of love because we're all about love.
Five stops in, the JCA team recently pulled up to the Plains by the Sea, Savannah Lamar, Westmoreland, for another of their parish engagement sessions. See what took place next.
After making our debut visit to the town of Santa Cruz, St. Elizabeth, then landing in the historic town of Spanish Town, St. Catherine, then moving across the eastern parish of Portland, into the town of Port Antonio, then to the garden parish of St. Anne in Ocho Rios. The Jamaica Customs Agency team is pleased to make our 5th stop in the serene parish of Westmoreland.
Apart from it being the first for the new financial year, although 5th in the overall engagement sessions, it is actually the session where we invited persons with disabilities specifically, and we actually had 2 interpreters today with us. Also, we were able to do live streaming, and this allowed persons across the length and breadth of Jamaica to see and hear what was going on, and in addition, persons in the diaspora to hear what is happening straight from the source.
At the Westmoreland engagement, the JCA provided pertinent information about customs clearance procedures and goods that are restricted or prohibited. Prohibited goods are those that should not be imported into the country at any time, while restricted goods can only be imported if a permit is obtained.
And we're looking at items such as possibly meats, as I said, the apples that persons may try to bring in when they're coming into the countries, the turkeys during the Christmas season, other dangerous drugs, the cocaine, and the firearm and ammunition. Goods may be inferior. Persons mentioned earlier about counterfeit cigarettes, the rum, right? So we're looking at things like these. We have other counterfeit items as well. I mean, you'd have seen clothes, shoes, the watches, the headphones, and so forth that's been on the market.
The JCA continued to engage its partners on its CMC initiative. And for this leg of the journey, the Jamaica Intellectual Property Office, JIPO, came on board and provided information on trademarks and intellectual property rights.
I want to make an appeal to you to be careful about what you purchase. Look at the trademarks to make sure that it's a genuine item you're buying, because if you buy counterfeit goods, you are inadvertently feeding organized crime. There is real enforcement behind it, there are real consequences behind it, and we want to make sure that we not only value our intellectual property rights, but we recognize the value of others.
As the agency continues to tackle the issue of corruption through public education, residents learned ways in which customers contribute to this practice and the measures the JCA is taking to combat this challenge.
So whether is it they cutting your goods by half, or you're providing fraudulent invoices just so that you can get your goods under value, that is a form of non-compliance, which is also a form of corruption and borders on crime. So honest and effective leadership and oversight, proper auditing, clear rules on ethical behavior, transparent procedures, pre-employee and continuous screening, that's our vetting, sensitization sessions and workshops like we're doing here now, risk management, anti-corruption strategies, and our penalty system.
The audience also got an opportunity to provide feedback.
Is Customs aware of the frustration that customers go through at the Montego Bay port? And is anything being done to alleviate that frustration?
We understand, but until the port is expanded, and that is an initiative that has to be taken by the Port Authority of Jamaica, not Customs. It's a private entity.
What if when you go and clear a barrel and when you reach home you realize it was hacked into?
Usually for you to report something missing, it would have to be discovered right there and then when the items are being examined and the report made so that, you know, things can be investigated.
And of course, residents were thoroughly entertained by the Hartford Folk and Cultural Group.
Quite entertaining and informative because the dramatizations, they were hilarious. They're real life. We can relate to that situation, and even the presentations, the information given, it was quite informative.
As the Jamaica Customs Agency continues its journey across the island, stay tuned, listen in, keep your ears to the ground, because the next stop may just be in your town.
No traffic is allowed through the 3 miles intersection of the corporate area. Motorists coming from Mandela Highway or Spanish Town Road heading towards Halfway Tree may detour along Washington Boulevard. Those heading towards the downtown Crossroad area from Spanish Town Road may travel through the communities of Waterhouse or Portmore. The 3 miles intersection and environs are being upgraded to create a seamless connection between the corporate area and St. Catherine.
We close out this year's observance of Fire Safety Awareness Month with some prevention advice.
In the case of a fire at your home, should you A, stop to get your pet, B, evacuate immediately and call the fire brigade from a neighbor's phone, or C, stop to call the fire brigade? The answer is B, evacuate immediately and call the fire brigade from a neighbor's phone. Many students know the answer to the question simply because a fire prevention officer went to their school and gave them the drill.
When your clothes is on fire, you do not run. So you stop where you are, you fall to the ground, and you roll.
Public education is a key component in fire prevention. It is a proactive method of reducing emergencies and the damage caused by them by ensuring that the public is fully aware of what to do in case of an emergency.
We recognize that fires start most of the time because people don't know about fires. People don't know what it takes to make a fire. People don't know what it takes to get rid of a fire. Without educating a person about the dangers of fire, then they would be totally lost, and we will continue to have devastating fires destroying life and property.
Look around for me. Make sure that everybody in the class is here.
I think you should give yourselves a clap. Right. That's how we want you to operate when there is a fire, all right?
Fire prevention officers go into communities, businesses, schools, churches, wherever they are granted access, and educate the public on fire safety practices. And through programs like Safety Monitor and Training, persons are taught to educate others about appropriate fire safety behavior.
We go into communities, we train what we call community safety wardens or fire wardens. So they would now look at the mispractices. We go into businesses, organize the staff, and we train persons to train the people in the workplace. They are also trained to a point where they can check for hazards to ensure that all the fire hazards that are visible can be reduced.
If it is that you require of us or you ask of us to come into your home and show you what inside there can actually start a fire and how you can prevent that fire, we actually do that. And we promote as well what we call the good neighbor policy. So you ensure that your neighbor is not doing anything that will put your life in jeopardy from a fire, and you do the same as well for your neighbors.
What happens?
Fire prevention does not stop at public education. There is also engineering and enforcement. You could call it the triple E effect. Engineering and enforcement go hand in hand. It's at this stage that the Fire Prevention Division review building plans, inspect buildings, and assess for compliance.
We encourage you to come into us, submit your building plan. We are able to look at it to see how you are going to occupy the building, and then we would be able to recommend the type of devices that you would use to better protect your property and the lives that will occupy that building.
Fire prevention officers should be contacted to conduct fire safety inspection as soon as new buildings are erected or existing buildings are being renovated. There is no cost attached.
So you would write us a letter, and you can send it in to us by email. When we get that letter, we set a date with you. We come into your building and we look at everywhere. All of the occupied space, whether doors are locked off, technical room. We start from the roof all the way down to basement level if there's a basement, and we note everything in terms of what you have in the building, what you need to do, and then we would go back, make recommendations. So once you implement those recommendations, then you know that you are on the right track to have a safe building, a fire-safe building to occupy.
Once the inspection is complete and your building meets the required standard, you will receive a building occupancy certificate, also known as a fire certificate. The Fire Prevention Division also sees to the retrofitting of fire hydrants.
In 2007, we did a survey. That survey was a bit dismal, to be honest. It showed that we had just about 30% of all fire hydrants across the island working. We hired 2 teams of hydrant maintenance persons, and we placed one in the western section of the island and one in Kingston. In 2012, 5 years after, we did another survey, and that survey is showing us that we now have over 70% of the fire hydrants working. So that is really saying to us that the team that we have employed is actually going out there and doing the job that is required of them.
The fire brigade is on the job to ensure that you are safe in the event of a fire, but they can't go it alone. Your help is needed.
Don't cook and leave it unattended. Don't overload circuits. Don't introduce a whole lot of electrical equipment on systems that are not designed for that heavy load. Don't allow children that are not of the age of 12 and untaught to be fooling around with fire in general, and pretty much ensure that you have a plan in your home, in the building that you occupy. Ensure that the right equipment is there. Our message to the public is prevent, prevent, prevent.
Once a fire starts, you need to call us. It is better for us to get on the scene and realize that you have already dealt with it than for us to get on the scene late. Because nobody likes a situation like that when we get there late and there's nothing much that we can actually do.
For more information on the Jamaica Fire Brigade, visit their website, www.jfb.gov.jm, or call 922-2523 or 922-0007.
Protect Jamaica, plant your grass. Help us become more resilient to climate change impacts. Protect Jamaica, plant a tree. It improves the island's national biodiversity. Trees may be fruit, ornamental, or timber, but must be native or suitable to the area's natural landscape. Join the Jamaica Million Tree Campaign and help to plant 1 million trees by June 30, 2019. This is a call to action by the National Environment and Planning Agency.
As we look forward to Eat Jamaican and Youth Month in November, let's bask in the creativity and inventive nature of our young.
Recycling, the process by which used materials are converted into new, usable products. One of those commonly recycled materials is the plastic bottle. It's often used to produce a number of products, from clothing to furniture and even other bottles. But did you know that bottles can be repurposed into a greenhouse? Well, a team from the Richmond Park Primary School in Clarendon not only built a greenhouse, but also created an irrigation system along the way.
The JCCP and the UNDP involved us into a project in ways how we can sustain the environment. So our school, we came up with the idea of recycling plastic bottles, and because we are in the farming, our school is in the 4-H club, we decided to do the greenhouse and plant crops inside of it. We use plastic bottles a lot in our schools and our surroundings, and we see them all over the place. So we and the students, we came together with an idea to collect all the plastic bottles in our communities, and then we bring them back to our school, and then we wash them, and then we started to build the greenhouse. This size, it took us 1 week, exactly 1 week. Inside we have 6 types of drip irrigation system. We have the cone dripper, where we put the plant inside, we cut the liter bottle and put the plant inside of it, and the water is absorbed by the absorbent cord into the soil. That is, the plant can get the water and the nutrients also. And we have the hose dripper. When the water runs off the roof and catches into the bucket, it leads to the hose and it waters the plants also. And we have the plant hangers and the syrup bottle self-watering system, where the water drips from one bottle to the next until it waters all the plants. So you don't have to go every day to water plants. The bottles are there, it's a self-watering system. All you have to do is to pour some water inside the bottles.
The greenhouse was a hit at the 66th staging of the Denby Agricultural Show in Clarendon and caught the attention of several government ministers, one of whom was a minister without portfolio in the Agriculture Ministry, J.C. Hutchinson, who indicated that this project was in line with something he had been advocating for.
What I've been speaking mainly about is the hydroponics, which part of what you see there is the hydroponics, where you have the water coming through the plastic bottles to filter to the plants. And also you could have aquaponics also, where you have the fish below, and that filters through the plants, through the plastic bottles, and comes back out. Inside there is cooler than outside here, and I think if we can have some of these going, it might suit quite a number of persons who might think of setting up house.
Reduce, reuse, recycle. The use of plastic bottles in the agricultural sector is definitely becoming a thing. So give it a try. Start a backyard garden and help to rid the country of these pollutants. We all can play our part in helping to make the country a cleaner place and even help to boost the economy.
And that's our show. Be sure to catch up on this and past programs by visiting our website jis.gov.jm and our YouTube channel. You may also keep in touch through our social media pages. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica. Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357 or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
We are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Hi, I'm Richard Panduit, CEO for the Separate Group of Companies. You're watching Business Access TV. We're serious about business.
For a real chill experience, having a glass of wine, some tasty food and good company in the right environment is definitely the way to go. On this episode of Chill Spot, we'll be hanging out at Uncorked with Valerie Grant, Managing Director at Geotech Vision. So don't go anywhere, more after this. Hello ladies. Hi. Hi Valerie, Candy, nice to meet you.
Good morning, Anna Kay.
Hi Anna Kay, Candy. So we're here at Uncorked. First of all, this is your chill spot.
Yes, it is.
And this is your business. Tell me a little about Uncorked.
Uncorked started in 2011, beginning of 2011. We started as a small little wine and cheese retail business down on Hillcrest Avenue.
Okay.
And the business did well, and there was clearly a need for that kind of product. And really we've grown as our customers have sort of demanded that we grow. So we went from there, we came up here to Sovereign North, where we got further into the food business, and now we are a full-fledged wine and cheese restaurant. And we of course have our retail gift items and cheese and wine accessories. So we're a lot of different little things in one small space.
And what inspired you to start the business?
It started with a couple of friends and myself, and we just love the wine and cheese culture, the gourmet food culture. And we just thought that there was space in Jamaica for that. It's something that, you know, when we're lucky enough to travel, it's something that we ourselves look for. So we thought that there was probably a lot of Jamaicans that would be interested in this kind of product. What happens quite often is that if a customer comes here and they want something but it's a little different, we'll do it for them, and then they'll ask for it again. And then somebody will come and see it and they'll ask for it. That's why we have things called the tin, you know, the bev the Judy, the Carla, the Max, So
those are all named after your friends?
All named after the Uncork customers.
Wow, the Max.
The Max, yeah.
So I'm going for my menu item soon, right?
Yeah.
So you have to come in and
soon we'll have a Valerie, that's for sure.
Name something after.
And Valerie, why did you choose here as your chill spot?
It's in a convenient location. It's close to my office. The persons here, the waitresses, they're able to anticipate my need. They know exactly where to seat me. They know what to bring me first. So it's just a great environment.
All right, well, I'm excited to try my first glass of wine here. So let's head inside.
Welcome to Uncork. My name is Nikisha, and I'll be your server for today.
Thank you very
much.
Thank you, Nikisha. You're welcome.
Well, I must say I really like Uncork so far. I'm feeling this ambience, like it feels good in here. Yes, and I'm looking forward to the food. All right, so let's talk about your professional life. So you're the managing director at Geotech Vision. What exactly is Geotech Vision?
Okay, well, Geotech Vision is a ICT and geospatial technology company.
That all sounds very complex.
Very technical, I know. So I'm going to explain what that is. So we provide location information for actionable intelligence. So for example, Uncork is located in this location. Right. Their customers come from somewhere. In order to better understand where their customers are coming from, we can do the analysis, we can understand where people chill, where they relax, and you can better target their needs. So we do that in the business space, we do that for governments in terms of planning, spatial technologies. So yes, it's not as complicated as it sounds, but pretty much we use location information to get persons to make wise decisions.
And you are the founder of
Yes.
this company.
Yes.
Congratulations on
Thank
that, because
you.
that in itself is a feat. Tell me about starting a company and what challenges you had to overcome.
So there have been many. Starting a company, it's first getting to understand what your market is like and understand how you are really going to service that market. I started Geotech Vision simply because I recognized that there was a gap in the market. There was no company that was offering a customized solution to customers. So while there were other GIS companies in the Caribbean, there was just none that would seek to understand the needs of the customers and not just sell them something out of a box. Right. So this is what we decided to do. So every solution that we provide to our customers, we first do a needs assessment and make sure that it's the right match.
And how long have you been doing it now? How long has the
Since
company been around?
2008.
2008?
Yes.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks.
Are there any other places where you currently operate, or is Jamaica the only place?
Oh no, we are a Caribbean-wide company. So we operate in 15 different Caribbean countries, and we have a second office in Georgetown, Guyana.
Oh wow. Yeah. What has been your biggest setback thus far?
There are two that jumps out at me, and one was 6 months after starting the company, I became ill. So it meant that all the resources that I had for growing the company was wiped out in terms of medical expenses. Wow. So that was our big, yeah.
And I assume you're better now?
Yes, much better. So that meant that we had to really grow at a slower pace than anticipated. But 6 months after the procedure, I was back in the Caribbean trying to build Geotech Vision. And then I would say the other one was something that happened about 2 years ago when we got the biggest contract that we've ever gotten. And our financial institution would have indicated that they were going to back the project. And then at last minute, they said that they needed collateral. As a small company, where was I going to get that? That was a major setback, but we navigated those waters and we were able to deliver the project on time and successfully.
Coming up, I know you've received several accolades since starting. Tell us about some of those.
The most recent one is the Commonwealth Woman Entrepreneur of the Year Award.
Wow. Yes. Congratulations. I've said congratulations about 4 times since starting this interview.
Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On point. Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
As the end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa la 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 la? 60 advertising spots, 10 cross spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you. BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, products launch, workshop, or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357, or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Stay current and gain more information on the ever-evolving industry of real estate on Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m. on Business Access TV. I know you've received several accolades since starting. Tell us about some of those.
Okay, so the most recent one is the Commonwealth Woman Entrepreneur of the Year Award.
Wow.
Yes.
Congratulations. I've said congratulations about 4 times since starting this interview.
Thanks a lot, Candy. Well, with that one, I now serve as a Commonwealth Businesswoman Ambassador until the next Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in 2017. Which means that as the ambassador, I'm really working with women entrepreneurs across the Commonwealth and trying to make sure that we see how we can help to focus on women entrepreneurs and help them to take their businesses to the next level. So that is something that I'm very excited about. And there is an initiative that I'm actually going to be launching in the next couple of months that speaks to that. It is a crowdfunding initiative that is going to be raising money for women entrepreneurs in the Caribbean, and we're targeting $1 million
wow.
for 50 entrepreneurs in at least 10 countries. So it's quite ambitious, but we're getting some corporate buy-in.
And I love that it's across the region as well. This is not just focused on Jamaica, which is awesome. It's
Yes.
an awesome initiative. How do you see the process of becoming an entrepreneur in Jamaica? Is it easier or is it more difficult to do so?
In Jamaica, we are building a very strong entrepreneurial ecosystem now. We have a lot more support. There's things like Startup Jamaica. There is the Technology Innovation Center. We were a part of the Technology Innovation Center, and for us that was fabulous in terms of support. So it gave us the needed platform to really launch out the needed support that was necessary to kind of hone our skills. We need to expose students to entrepreneurship because they can realize that it's not about just going to school and coming out, getting an education to get a job, but that they can actually create their own jobs. We're making the right steps in Jamaica. We just need to keep doing more of that and keep encouraging and engendering that spirit of entrepreneurship.
So did you always know that you wanted to become an entrepreneur?
I'm from a family that has entrepreneurial roots. So my mom was self-employed, my dad as well. And so I always knew that I wanted to have a business. But then after graduating from university, I was in private sector. And then being young and naive, I went over into public sector and just thought that I could make the world a difference. Right? When I realized that that wasn't happening, I figured there must have been another way for me to make the kind of contribution I was hoping to make. And then I recognized that there was this huge gap in the geospatial space. It was still relatively new in the Caribbean. And so I said, you know what, let's capitalize on it. So I looked at that opportunity and decided to make a business out of it.
Do you have any other professional pursuits at this time?
Yeah, well, I'm involved in other entrepreneurial activities as well. But apart from those activities, in terms of philanthropic pursuits, I tend to work a lot with students and universities, and that is where we really do the most of our giving back. We have donated software to the University of Technology. We have given scholarships to students in our discipline. So these are some of the things that we are involved in. Yeah.
What is it that drives you to succeed?
There are just a lot of things that are intrinsic motivation, right? I want to see our industry at a given place, and so I want to help to take it there. I want to be the game changer in this space, and so that in itself is a motivation. And to tell you the truth, there were times when it was hard to pay the bills each day for staff and so on, and you wondered whether or not it was just easier to go back and get a job. But as soon as I started having employees, then that wasn't an option anymore. Right.
You have to support them
yes,
or else.
You have to support them, and so that for me is something that is constantly in the back of my mind, my team. So I know that we cannot fail because of the type of team that we have, and there are just so many persons that are now relying on the company, so it has to succeed. So that in itself is a motivation.
I think one of the things that I want to know as well is how you manage doing so many different things. How do you balance it all?
I have a great team. I keep saying it. They are so supportive. I don't have to be in the office for a task to get done, and the way I travel, I'm really hardly ever in the office, but I have a good team, and I try to practice some good time management. I also don't have 8-hour days. I have very long days, so that is something else. Keeping the balance is a constant struggle. It's something that I continuously work on.
What would you say are your aspirations for the future, having already accomplished so much?
You know, we are going to continue to push the envelope, so our aspirations involve a lot of applications that are going to not only meet our B2B customers, but the man on the street. So that is something that we're working on. And we are going to also be going after a bigger market share, both in terms of customer segments and in terms of geographic location. So we are going in Latin America, we are also going in Canada, so you can look out for us in other spaces, even outside of the Caribbean region. So that is something that is definitely on the card and is a part of our strategic plan.
Okay, and as a woman in business, what is your strategy for success? Because sometimes it can be so hard.
It can. So I tell myself that I recognize that, you know, having the right team, having the right qualifications does not always cut it. You still have to work harder to get through the door. So I normally give 150%, but usually when we get that client, they become clients for life because they recognize the kind of unique customer experience and solution that they receive from us. So we have to work hard. And yes, I'm a woman in business, but I don't let that bog me down. I don't let it think, oh yes, I think as myself as a person in business. And so because of that, anything that my male counterparts can do, I don't shy away from it.
Right.
I'm up to the task.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I must say, Valerie, that was a very informative talk. I learned so much about you and your industry. And that being said, I think I'm ready to eat because it's lunchtime.
So am I.
Coming up,
and what are some of your other hobbies or interests now?
I'm a badminton person, so when I get the chance, I go knock the shuttles. And I was very pleased that West Indies won the match, so I'm a cricket fan as well.
Can you do the champion dance?
No.
Go for God Family Church.
Today's message is for those of you who thought that Jesus was finished.
Inspiring messages.
I'm here to tell you today that you are excellent. God is excellent.
Empowerment from biblical motivation.
To be glorified means to endow with authority. A woman is a powerful, creative being.
Join Pastor Christopher Morgan and the Go for God team as we go for God.
We are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
As the end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa la 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 la? 60 advertising spots, 10 crawl spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you. BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
So how was your lunch?
Excellent.
Yes, I really enjoyed my pasta as well. But now we're going to talk about the personal side of you. Were you born and raised in Kingston?
No, I'm a country girl. I'm from Hanover.
Hanover?
Yeah.
So when did you move to Kingston?
When I came to university.
So do you have any brothers and sisters?
I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters.
Okay, and you are the
5th child.
The 5th child, okay.
Yes, yes.
All right, so tell me about your childhood.
I grew up around my 3 brothers mostly. Well, 2 because one of my brothers are younger than I am. And I used to do all of the tomboy stuff. So I play football because I was really just not allowed to go out in the village and play with everybody else. So we did things together as a family. So we're from a very loving family. We monkey around. We just do crazy things all the time, and we still do when we get together.
And what about your sisters?
So my sisters, they were a bit older than I am. We're very close, but they were already gone off to college, so I didn't have a lot of time to play with them and so on. But they have been a strong influence on my life as well. So yeah, they're always somebody who I can really count on for advice, to be there for me. And especially after the death of our mom, that bond has even strengthened.
Been stronger. And what about your schooling? Where did you go to school in Hanover before you came to Kingston?
So I went to the Riverside All-Age School, and then I went to Received High School. So I'm a Russian as we say. And at Received, my experience was excellent. I was a prefect there. I was very involved in school activities, and that really gave me a great foundation
You seem like such a scholar, like one of the bright children in the class at school. Is that how you were in high school?
In a way, yes, but I'm not one of those persons who is a bookworm. No, I'm outside all the time. I'm playing football. Resides is noted for football, and I had my share of playing football. Even at university, I was on a University of West Indies football team.
Really?
I debate, I'm in speech and drama, I'm in everything, to the point where my sisters used to tell my mother that I'm gonna fail everything because I'm not focusing. But that's how I get through stuff. I just have to be very involved. So if I learn it in the class, then great, let me do something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell us about your husband. How long have you been married now?
3 years, going to 4 years.
Okay, and tell us about him.
I talk about having a strong support system in a team. Well, I do have a strong support system in a family. He's so supportive of all of my activities. I mean, he allows for my crazy innovations, he allows for all of the travels, and when he can, he also makes the time to even travel with me. So, you know, I do get lots of support from him.
And what are some of your other hobbies or interests now?
I'm a badminton person, so when I get a chance, I go knock the shuttles. I also like football, so I watch a good game of football. And I was very pleased that West Indies won the match, so I'm a cricket fan as well.
Can you do the champion dance?
No, no. No. And when we have CPL, I'm at the games. Yeah, my husband is a big cricket fan as well.
Okay,
so, yeah.
That's
So we
something
do
you
that
guys
together.
can enjoy together,
Yeah.
right?
And if I just want to chill, I drive down to the country, see my dad. Hanover is just such a scenic parish, and I just like to be there. I feel so at home, and it feels like everything else, the burden of the world is off you. So yeah, so that's kind of what I like to do.
Lovely. And speaking about long drives and traveling,
yes,
you do a lot of traveling, and
Too much.
You've experienced different cultures. How do other cultures compare to that of Jamaica's?
I want to say that there's really just no comparison. Every culture is unique, but you know what? People ask me all the time, especially with regards to the Caribbean, which is my favorite Caribbean island, and I normally just say Jamaica. And it's not because I'm Jamaican, it's just because our culture is just such a rich culture, and our island is just so beautiful. It has a mix of everything you can think of. If it's the beaches, you have it. If it's the waterfalls, you have it. If it's the mountains, you have it. And when I lived in the Bahamas, I used to get up and literally miss the mountains because there's just no mountains. From that perspective, I really do like Jamaica. I really do believe that we have such a rich culture. I'm a foodie, so I really enjoyed, trying cuisines from other places. So that's one of the things that I do when I travel. I really like to try the local cuisines, try the wines.
Is there anywhere that stands out to you as you say that?
Recently in Malta, I had a good experience when I got a chance to go to our estate and really tour the winery, try some of their wines, and so that was a good experience.
Okay.
Yeah. So things like that, and I try to do that in the different places that I go to, just to kind of get an appreciation for the culture. And I don't like to see places as a tourist. I like to see it the way the locals
do.
Yeah.
Right. If there's one word of advice that you could give to upcoming entrepreneurs, what would it be?
To never limit yourself, to have a dream and dream big, and always see the end game and work towards what that end game is.
Well, this has been a fabulous visit to Uncorked. I'm obsessed with this wine. We had discussed that I'm not really a wine drinker, but this is delicious, and the food was so tasty. So thanks for sharing your chill spot with us.
Thanks, Candy. It was a pleasure. I really enjoyed today.
Today we took it easy as we chilled at Uncorked, and I absolutely enjoyed our dining experience whilst getting to know Valerie Grant, another stalwart Jamaican excelling in her field as the Managing Director at Geotech Vision. Until next week, I'm Candy for Chill Spot. Bye! The wine tastes good for true, no? Hereafter, I just give you this big speech about how I don't drink and I don't like wine and I think and I taste. I'm like, this is delicious. And Valerie, why did you choose Uncorked as your chill spot?
Well, it's in a convenient location. The people here are able to anticipate my needs. They know where to seat me. It happens.
3, 2, 1, standby, cue, action. They don't know when to tell you, how to tell you to start on the show.
Stand by.
I'm going to be my own producer. I'll tell myself when to go. Guys, I'm really not a diva. I did not have a diva moment. I was just kidding, okay? I didn't realize it was recording.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more. No more crime.
Hi, I'm Richard Pandoy, CEO for the Separate Group of Companies. You're watching Business Access TV. We're serious about business.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Welcome to part 2 of BATV's coverage of the Driving Financial Inclusion with Digital Payments Conference happening right here at the Bank of Jamaica. I'm your host, Javon Keys, inviting you to stay tuned.
DBJ, in collaboration with the Inter-American Development Bank, has embarked on a program of financial inclusion, or assisting with the development of the and also assisting with the development of the micro, small and medium-sized enterprises. Now, an important part of the conference is to bring awareness to the availability of the relevant technologies that can assist in bringing efficiencies to businesses. So this conference is under the theme Electronic Retail Payments as well as Financial Inclusion, because we're seeking to bring micro and small businesses into the formal sector and for them to understand how they can utilize digital technology to improve their business operations. We think that the conference is timely because we're at a stage now in the market where there are 3 providers of call it non-traditional services, mobile money services, and one in the form of a prepaid MasterCard. Now, as it relates to mobile money, that particular service has been on the market for about 3 or 4 years, but the adoption of mobile money services has been below par. But mobile money has been used in other areas to move persons into the formal sector and to assist in reducing things like transaction costs for businesses. So we think it is timely now that our MSMEs seek to adopt this technology as they move towards improving business efficiency. As it relates to the presenters, we endeavor to bring presenters who are already in the space, persons who are aware of the technology, and persons who could contribute and help in convincing microfinance organizations as well as other stakeholders of the importance of moving Jamaica in this direction.
The
idea behind this is really seeking how we can help to develop the ecosystem for digital payments to encourage more persons to actually use it as a means of engaging with regulated financial institutions or regulated payment system providers. The thinking behind it is that you have to understand the customer's perspective, remove the pain points, understand the provider's perspective, and facilitate the flow of business and funding, because this financial inclusion project is part of a broader project to empower Jamaicans to actually engage in the global economy. First of all, I think we need to redefine ourselves. I think we limit ourselves unnecessarily. Jamaicans, and Jamaica is actually on the cusp of becoming first world. We're an upper middle income country. We have sacrificed greatly in terms of financial sector reform. So what you see in the ERPS guidelines, the Electronic Retail Payment Services guidelines, is the creation of the regulatory framework which speaks to consumer protection, speaks to agents, speaks to the nature of the product design, and we go through a rigorous assessment of the product, which means that when a consumer now uses an authorized ERPS product, they have confidence that Bank of Jamaica has looked at the issue, looked at fit and proper, looked at the agent network, and even looked at the mechanisms to protect the consumer. So, of course, data protection is critical, but what also needs to be remembered at each point is that this is a means of facilitating payments. So we have tiered levels because we understand that the transaction volume and the value of each transaction is important to the individual customer. So it's all being done from a customer perspective as well as ensuring you develop the ecosystem. We are about empowering Jamaicans and empowering our financial institutions and providers by bringing them together in a forum where we can speak about the areas that need to be improved upon and addressed. And the main takeaway for the Jamaicans would be that we can actually use digital payments to facilitate business and facilitate it easily with confidence, knowing the payment will go through, knowing that it will reach its intended recipient, and knowing that you have confidence at the end of the day your wallet, your mobile wallet, is in fact operating as it should to protect you.
I was presenting on public-private partnerships and how its impact can influence a successful ecosystem for electronic retail payments. The main takeaway points is that the private sector, in assisting the government to achieve national financial inclusion strategy, cannot do it on its own. There has to be a substantial investment by the government itself to advance financial inclusion. This conference is an offshoot of the government's plan, and in this plan it involves the commitment to public and private partnership, which is education of the public on the government's intention to support digital products for the underserved, and hence it's called financial inclusion. It's very timely. Digital evolution, it's becoming faster and faster, and the sooner Jamaicans are made aware of the opportunities, the sooner the investors, all stakeholders, and the consumers can participate. I personally would not like to see a foreign company come in and provide solutions to our own citizens, which we are capable of doing. So it is incumbent upon us to now start to roll out our strategies. There are 4 authorized issuers, and issuer is the company who will be providing the service. There is Alliance, GK, which does MPay, Quisk, NCB, and previously there was Connect. And these companies have made significant advancements and investments into the new ecosystem. And I personally believe that there's so much opportunity. Lasco Financial Services is preparing its application as well, because we see the opportunities in the market. But for the state, we believe it is necessary for them to assist us with the public education, because we have to convert. It's going to be a lot to convert new customers who are not fully aware of the opportunities and the entire security features of this digital payment. That us as issuers can't do on our own. So that was mainly the gist of my presentation, to make the state think differently about their role in financial inclusion, and also to make the investors think differently about their role. I find that most of the investors are so focused on the payment system, which is the technology, and not thinking about the ecosystem. Now, the ecosystem is necessary to drive success, which is all the merchants involved, all the agents that are involved, and other government stakeholders. So I hope today I was able to give them a different perspective. So far there's not been any successful business proposition, neither for the customer nor the investors themselves. So I hope I was able to get them to think a little differently today.
It's time for a quick break, but stay with us. We have much more after this.
The Nissan X-Trail with All-Mode Eye Technologies. No matter what the road throws at you, your story starts here.
We are back with another exciting, innovative and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us.
So people earn more as technology get adopted. So that's on the macro side, but then there are overwhelming distributional effect of technology. The high school droppers, their real wage hasn't moved from 1963, from the 60s. So what happened with technology adoption is that those who are able to use those technologies are the one who benefit, because the technology is complementary to high skill. Think about powerful computers. You can do programming. Obviously, you program faster. You can run your code faster. But if you have robots are substitute to who? Robots are substitute to low-skilled workers. You still need high-skilled people to program those robots. So in equilibrium, you would have more higher real wage, higher productivity for high-skilled workers, and lower real wage for low-skilled workers. Because the demand for those low-skilled is lower because they get substituted with robots. But the demand for high skill is higher because you need more high skill to program and to actually operate those robots. Now, that's the general perspective on technology. But you may wonder, is this time different? Is the digital revolution different from the previous technological change that occurred? In some respect, yes, but not totally. Yes, because this chart shows you the lag in the adoption of technologies. So if you look at earlier technologies in terms of motor engines, they were slow. The adoption of those technologies was slower. So the digital is faster to adopt, maybe because of the nature of the technology itself. But the reality is that the changes that we've seen over the past 50 years, you may have to double that if you're thinking about the 50 years ahead, because technology diffusion is faster. Now, I do believe that people learn fast. I mean, we saw yesterday in the keynote there was a top-down approach to financial inclusion, which in the case of Jamaica could mean the path benefits are channeled through funds. And as you do that alone, if people are already aware that my path benefit will be coming on my phone, it unlocks that possibility to use funds as device to mobile service and all. So I think there is some scope for top-down in terms of what the policy can do to incentivize those behaviors. In some other countries where the private sector is very large and have a lot of access to credit, they could also engineer, they could facilitate that process. But I think in developing countries there is a scope for government to kind of fuel the process.
I was essentially
looking back and to see how technology, what has been the impact on technology, on work, technology on distribution. And the key message there is that technological advancement have generally been associated with higher growth, higher productivity, and higher real wages on aggregate. But they also come with some challenges because when there are new technology, some people get displaced because some new jobs get created as a substitution to some of the old jobs. So usually technology are more skill biased. So those people who have skills are complementary to technology. Like if you need robots, you're essentially substituting low-skill jobs. But those people who can operate the robots and program the robots, those are the people who, in the first instance, benefit the most. Now, that could lead to polarization of income. So you may have more inequality because the more skill get more and the low skill get less because they get substituted by the machines, right? So the question there is what can policy do? And this is one of the questions that I was trying to provide an answer to, drawing on some work that has been done at the IMF on technology and the future of work. And essentially, there is a taxation and spending policies that could be adopted. First, to make sure that the unskilled can keep up with technology in terms of upgrading their skills. And number two, how to finance that. Because if the government wants to spend more in those areas, there is scope to raise taxes. And when you think about tax, you don't want to tax the income of the person earning more because he may work less. So you don't want distortionary taxes. You want consumption type tax. So in that model, they try to see if taxing consumption to finance more education spending and providing some transfers, how can you redistribute the gain of technological change? So you keep the growth, so you keep the fact, you don't prevent technology from occurring, because one of the nature of the growth and development is that new sectors comes up, some jobs get destroyed, and as long as there is no distortion in the process, you shouldn't prevent the process. And that's what policy can do, you know, in terms of using taxation and spending to make sure that although the aggregate gains of technology are protected, you also take care of the non-so-skilled in terms of upgrading them.
We take our final break, but don't go anywhere. We have more highlights for you after this.
We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com.
Thanks for staying with us, and if you're just tuning in, we're here at the Driving Financial Inclusion with Digital Payments Conference. Now for more highlights.
Security incidents have been increasing in sophistication, frequency, and the magnitude of impact. So no longer you have a one-way hack. So we hack an organization somewhere and it's isolated. No more we have that. We go in big. Hackers are organized. You have hacker teams, and I really want to scare you really, really bad, but we have them locally too. And on these teams, you have the person who is in charge of personal data. You are the technical person. You do the social engineering. Different persons have their different roles. So they're dedicated to what they do. This is their job. Figure out how to get into a certain amount of accounts and take out the money. These incidents, as I may have alluded to before, affect the reputation of the company, their finances, and even their physical assets, because they can take down your networks. This undermines your competitiveness and your ability to innovate and position yourself in the marketplace. You can suffer tangible, physical, or economic harms. Security incidents can impose significant costs on an economy as a whole, eroding trust and spreads across sectors. The attacks themselves may be intentional. So they may sit and plan for a year that look, we're coming for Bank of Jamaica. However, it may also be unintentional. You may just have that one user that's clicked on the wrong thing. A lot of times, that happens. What are some of the ways in which this can happen? Now, research has shown that the biggest security issue in any organization is the human factor. So you spend all this money and you buy the latest firewalls and you have all the policies in place. But if your users are not aware, if they don't know that Mr. Morrison's name does not have an S, it can cause a problem. So you have to be aware, you have to be really conscious of these things. Think about it. You must have policies and procedures in place. As the leaders, as the managers of the organizations, you have to ensure that you have the end user policies, your social media policies. I know these are things we generally don't think about because they're not traditional, but it's the age in which we're living again. You must look at things such as passwords. You have to ensure that your users know that their name is not a good password. They also need to be aware of the fact that when you give them a set of credentials, it's theirs. And anything happens under those credentials, they are responsible. And always be careful of opening and following links in unsolicited mail. If you don't know the person, like me and the cyberjutsu person, don't be clicking at them. As much as it may make you feel good, the feel-good factor is what they used to get. And what we say, always be cyber safe, protect yourself online, and think before you click. And I've even gone further now to say think before you post, because some of the things that you're posting, they're even more dangerous than some of the things in your phone.
I spoke about the need for persons to be aware of the issues that can arise with using online platforms as well as using electronic devices. So we want people to know that while there are good uses, and I did speak to some of the uses of social media in marketing and in promoting a business, there are some risks that exist, and I gave some examples as to how to manage those risks. Companies need to do all that is necessary to protect consumers' data. Why I don't think sometimes they realize that this data that they hold is valuable to other organizations, some not necessarily legal organizations as well, for all sorts of use. And that is what we're trying to get across, that companies need to realize that you're holding personal data and other persons are interested in this data, so it is your responsibility to protect it. When you're using online platforms, when you're using electronic devices, think before you click, think before you post with social media. You need to consider the impact that whatever you post may have, not only on you, but on others. Thinking before you click can save yourself and your organization a lot of trouble.
As it relates to a digital world, and as users and consumers increase their usage, and the intention is that as technology improves and increases, then more and more persons should take up the use, especially to do businesses and services. But the direction that we're heading is good, but we also have to think about the negative side of things, in the sense that there are challenges with respect to security aspect of what we do. We do a lot of business online. We do a lot of transaction, point-of-sale services. All of these things, pose risk and threat for the consumers. Criminals are out there. They're understudying and looking at how things move on and progress with respect to businesses, whether it's online businesses and things like that. They can get involved in studying your patterns of usage online. Say, for example, if you pay bills online, if you shop online, normally you'll put your information about your card online, your PIN number online. Criminals can now send, malicious software to your smart devices. Once it gets on your devices, these criminals now have access to your information. It dumps things like keyloggers, so when you're ready to put your card number in, they capture that number. It goes as far as turning on your camera system and turns on your audio system. Sounds very scary, but indeed it is so. I'm not here to let persons become paranoid, but becomes aware of the possibilities that are out there. Sometimes you go to point of sale to do your transactions. We have to be careful of the persons that are accepting your debit and credit card, because sometimes they work with the criminal underworld. They get things like skimmers, a similar thing to your swipe when you take it to the supermarket or gas station. Swipes. Criminals are now bringing into the country the fake ones, so that cashiers and persons who are accepting these cards, they will have the fake, what we call a skimmer. Once you make your payment and you're not paying attention, these persons can swipe these cards, capture the information about your card, recreate your card, or get into your account. So I'd advise shoppers, when you go to the gas station, don't just give your card and turn your back or let the attendant go away with your card. If they're not doing these transactions in your presence, then you should not do business with that kind of business place. So these are some of the things, we just want you to be aware that these are the possibilities, and you have to be vigilant as a user and as a consumer, because the more and more we move into a cashless society, it becomes more challenging for law enforcement to investigate these cases. As I said before, the internet has no borders, and all of these things are connected on a global scale to different servers providing different services. And sometimes you have persons out there that can hide their criminal activity. Say, for example, an IP address. Criminals can now hide their IP address, make it appear that it's coming from a specific server, a proxy server, makes it more difficult for law enforcement to track these criminals. But I want to reassure the Jamaican public that law enforcement and government is doing the best they can at this point, seeing that digitization and technology drives the economy. We'll have to prepare ourselves to serve and protect consumers as they use technology more. Laws are in place to deal with criminals and to deter their activity. We have the Cybercrime Act of 2015, which is now up for revision. The penalties are stiff. If it's in the lower court, it can be between 3 to 5 years or $3 to $5 million. If it's in the upper court, you can get a maximum of 20 years or $20 million. And these are some of the things we are putting in place to deter criminal activity. Of course, the police department do have a specific unit that deals with the investigation of these types of crimes. Personnel have been trained and have the necessary skill set that can investigate these matters. Another thing is that Jamaica is a part of a global network of investigators and skilled person who can investigate these cases. So because the internet has no borders, it means that a perpetrator can, have access to your information from outside of Jamaica, which means that you need the support of other countries. Jamaica is a part of a 24/7 network, which comprises of about 80 different countries. So if a perpetrator appears to be coming from country X, Once that country is a part of the network, then they will collaborate and support the investigation with the local police department. And that is something that, you know, we want consumers to be reassured that indeed we are trying to keep up with the game as criminals get more sophisticated.
And that brings us to the end of part 2 of our 2-part coverage of the Driving Financial Inclusion with Digital Payments conference. Until next time, I'm Javon Keys, inviting you to stay tuned to Business Access TV, serious about business.
Greetings, I am Randy McLaren, co-founder and managing director of Brescia Enterprises. The idea came about after several discussions between myself and my brother, and we basically wanted a tangible way of expressing our talents and our skills, and of course a way of earning and to maybe employ others as well. So this is Davian McLaren, my little big brother and the co-founder of the company Brescia. He's the lead designer in the company, so whatever design is to come out, he's in charge of that, to monitor the quality and all them stuff there. At the time he was working at a department store in downtown Kingston. Minimum wage, it wasn't all that good and he wasn't using his skill set. And so we decided to take a plunge after we arrived at a decision to start this company called Brescia. And we decided to start with bags because there was a market after doing our research. There was a market and there was no established brand this side of the world, none in Jamaica. And we import some 600,000 backpacks alone per year. And that's over 300 million Jamaican dollars. And so we decided to start Brescia on our veranda with 2 brothers, an old machine, and big dreams. So it was started basically in August of 2015, so we are a very young company, a year and some months. Brescia designs and manufactures a range of quality products right here in Jamaica. And the quality products that we've decided to start with, it's not limited to bags, but we've started with bags. And so we do backpacks, we do lunch kits, we do pencil cases, we do tote bags, we can do travel bag, we can do gym bag. You see the RM on it, it's fully customized. RM Randy McLaren. So it's mine. You can tell us what compartment you want, if you want to personalize it with your name or initial, if you want to do a logo, if you're a company and you want specific branding, we can get that done. If you're a sports team, we can build bags for you as well. So we offer a fully customized service outside of the general bags that we do, because mostly the bags are done to order at this moment. We cater to everyone who needs to move things or something from point A to point B. Once you need to store your products, your gadgets. And so we're talking about students, we're talking about corporate workers, we're talking about government workers, we're talking about a sports and athlete. And when we say student, I mean at all levels, from primary, tertiary, secondary, whatever level basically. If you're in the gym, you need a gym bag. If you're traveling, you need a bag to move with, and that may be a duffel bag style or a backpack, depending on what you want. If you're going to work, you may want a work bag, and that may also be a backpack with a laptop compartment, some spaces to hold your files and your pens and your phone and that kind of stuff. So Brescia, Breche is the Jamaican word for breadfruit. Let's start there. Outside of Breche, I am a performer. I do spoken word, I do dub poetry, and I have a poem called Me Love Me Breadfruit that I've been performing from about 2004, right? And so when my brother were discussing what name to work with, we went through several options and we finally decided on Breche. For different reasons. We wanted something that says Jamaican vibe, Jamaican culture, Jamaican energy, right? And both of us were from the parish of St. Thomas. The first set of breadfruits were planted in St. Thomas in Bath, and so we decided to run with it. And our tagline is pick right, and we thought that was appropriate. When you see all the other bags, just pick right and pick the Breche. So initially, we didn't use any external funding. We pooled what we had in-house, and so we were able to buy our first second-hand industrial sewing machine. So we could have parked the domestic machine, the old one. So that was our first move. And about 2 weeks after doing that, my brother resigned from his 9-to-5 at the department store downtown, and we decided to go full speed with Breche. And then we bought our first set of fabric, all the accessories, the zips, the buckles, and all those things that you need to put a full bag together. The company is pretty stable. We work on a custom order basis, and before a bag is made, we require a 50% deposit. So you find that we operate at a pretty stable level. We don't have inventory or stock piled up that would, affect our costing and our cash flow. But the problem we face now is that we need to scale. And so we've gotten a grant from DBJ through the Ignite program. We've also been awarded a loan through the Branson Center of Entrepreneurship and the Arthur Guinness Foundation, where we got a special interest rate, I think 4%. We got nearly $2 million as loan, and that will be using those funds to basically scale the business, get more machinery, train and employ more persons, retrofit the space that we're in, do some marketing and work on the branding and for product development as well, right? So we're operating at a stable level right now, and we're very happy about that. We're on a bigger veranda now. We're now located at 26 South Camp Road. That's on the Alpha Institute complex. Centrally located, and it was a strategic decision because we want to grow. Where we're at now, we want to boost our production capacity. We really, really want to train and employ some more persons because the demand is there. So it's for us now to move and to put ourselves in a position where we can make use of the demand and scale as quickly as possible without rushing. All right, so here we have the ladies who are part of the company. Right here we have Kamali. Say hi, Kamali.
Hello.
Kamali is one of our big designers, top designers, right? And we have Veronique, who is our production manager.
Hi.
We've used in the past, we've gone through Heart Trust. So Heart has a program at Garmex, the Garmex facility, that they train people in fashion design and I believe machine operation as well. Kamali is one of our best workers, very detail oriented, came through that institution. So we're very grateful that they're doing the work that they're doing so that we can have access to talents. It's a pretty nice culture. It's mainly young people. I mean, working with young people, you'll always have your challenges. Because young people want up on them phone and them want to do fun things, right? And so we try to make the environment as light as possible, as relaxed as possible. We try to engender a family vibe, a family energy, where everyone feel comfortable talking to each other, where everyone feel comfortable sharing and learning at the same time. What we're working on is building the right culture to be in line with our mandate, to pick right. Everything must be on point, everything must be right. And we're very serious about that. We're very serious about empowering each other. We're serious about growth. A typical day for us here is 8 hours for some of us. It is 12 hours for some of us. We start generally at 9. Sometimes we're here earlier than that. We go, some of us, to 5 o'clock. But sometimes we're here depending on projects that we have, or we'll have orders to fill for our clients. We might be here until 8, 9, as the demand or our needs be. I'm still pretty young, but already I can see how being a young entrepreneur, having a young business can affect your relationship with family, even friends. Sometimes you don't get to visit your family as often as you want. Sometimes you're tired, you wake up early, you go in the night, you just want to sleep, you want to get some rest, you don't get to talk as often to family members, but you have to try to find time to make that happen. And we've been working at that deliberately to check in with friends and family every now and again. You know, call mom and find out what's happening. So it's been all right so far. I wouldn't say it's ideal, but we're trying to get there. And I think once you decide to start a business, and some things will be affected because you'll need to pay attention to nurturing this baby, right, so to speak. But it's understanding time and season. So you put out all the effort, all the sacrifices now so that later everybody can be comfortable and you can take care of your friends and family and everybody is good.
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me, and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
First of all, we're made in Jamaica. There's nothing more unique than that. We have a culture that people love, and the vibe and love that we put into each and every product is unique in and of itself. Our designs as well, we spend time to make sure that our designs are carefully crafted. So basically we have some of our products here, not all, but this one is an example of our crossbody bag, the big size. As you see, you can get your name or nickname on it. This is the Brescia Basic Flip design. I don't do the designing, work as a team to decide on the final products, but my brother and the rest of the designers on the team would work on those elements. Another point is that you can get your product fully customized from scratch. You basically tell us what you want and we facilitate that process, we build it. Another backpack, this time it has a logo on it. This one is actually for Johnny Daly, the comedian. We have new ideas every day, and new ideas can come from any member of the team. Myself, my brother, Kamali, anybody who is a part of the team can, if they have an idea, we try to make it a space where everybody can share it, and we discuss it as a team if we think that can work or not. Would this look good for who? Where in the market? Who would buy this? And so, you know, we search internationally, we look on what is out there, and we tweak, we come up with new designs. So we look at the trends, so the trends are telling us people want something that expresses their style. We look at how gadgets, technology, those are parts, you know, make up the trends. And so we try to make our bags to accommodate and to facilitate these trends. So we've used social media a lot. The Facebooks, the Instagram, the Twitter, we've used a lot, and so we get a lot of orders from online, through Facebook, through all those social media platforms. And so a logo, your colors, you want to be consistent with the postings online. You want to make sure the quality of your photos are high, and because some people believe that things that come from Jamaica are not of the highest quality, we have to make sure we push out with the best and we look good, not just for the Jamaican market space, but regionally and internationally, because that's our outlook. It's very big, our plans are big, and so we have to act accordingly in terms of building the brand. Yeah? And so we have a lot of customers online, and we try to keep them up to speed and interact with them as much as possible. Sometimes things will be very hard, but it's why you have a business plan and it's why you have a broader vision. So when things get tough, you reflect or you go back to that broader vision and understand that difficulties and struggles right now is a part of the journey towards that destination, right? And so that keeps you grounded. There will be obstacles, and we've had days sometimes when you don't feel like coming to work. You ask yourself, does this thing really make sense? You question yourself, but you go back to the vision as well. It's why it's also important to have a strong support group, right? So that when you feel like that you can bounce ideas and you can get a pickup from your friends. Sometimes you need to grow the business and you don't know where the funds is going to come from, but you have to try and be creative. So you look for whatever grants are out there. If you feel like you can take on a loan, then you do that. But you have to make sure you get sound advice as well, so you have a strong support team around you. Failures, I'd prefer to put them as lessons learned along the way. Like, I didn't study manufacturing, so it's new, right? And so we've had to learn almost on the go, read a lot, follow different pages that are in the manufacturing sector, talk to people a lot. So how you go about hiring, perhaps you could have done things differently, but with experience you learn. And it's very important that as a young entrepreneur you have persons around you with experience you can talk to and share with. And luckily enough, we've been lucky to have people around us to talk to so that we don't make any really bad mistakes. And my previous experiences in other businesses have given me a foundation on which to correct certain things in this company. How you prevent it is talking to the experts and ensuring that you have things documented. Again, when you have a plan, so you need to have your social media plan, you need to have your factory guidelines, you need to have all your spaces set out, which we had an engineer to come in and advise us on how to set out the space, because we don't think we know it all, and we don't know it all. And how you avoid mistakes is basically planning for it and mitigate, how you put things in place to see how you can mitigate against those mistakes. Even then you still have them, but it's to be quick to pick them up whenever they happen and to deal with them in the moment. I love the team, I love the work that they do. We try as much as possible to look out for each other because we really believe in their development. We have a lot of things that we want to do. We want to provide even more exposure and more growth for every single member of the team. We want to make sure that they're properly taken care of, because we not just only have external customers. We see our team as the internal customers. The staff is very important. So if you're going to talk about growth, you want to make sure that everybody's enjoying what they're doing, right, and having fun with it, and look forward to making a quality, unique product for each and every customer, right? And then growth strategy now, we're talking about partnerships with certain government agencies, so we can get into the schools. We're talking about partnership with individual schools to do co-branded products. The most successful form of marketing has been the social media platforms. Outside of that, we've done events, expos, back-to-school events, festivals. Those work as well, where you can directly relate with your customers. But social media and event marketing are the two main ones that we've used. We've gotten some PR in the newspaper as well. We've been interviewed for television and radio. Those work as well. But social media is I would say, those platforms have been our biggest success story, our biggest platform. We're aiming high, right? And we're willing to make whatever sacrifices we need to make. Not selling ourselves short or anything like that. We're serious about this. We're serious about making an impact and doing business for good. So people, profit, planet is very important for us, and we'll do whatever is in our powers to get the business to the level where we want it to be, which is an internationally recognized and known company. For us, it's been very practical. For us, it's making sure that we take care of our customers, and once we do that, take care of the staff as well. Those things are simple and basic things to having a successful journey as an entrepreneur or building a successful company. Here, we define success in terms of the impact that we have on our community, our communities. Right? We define success in terms of the number of people we're able to employ. We define success in terms of the number of scholarships that we'll be able to give. Right? We define success in terms of how much of what we make we're able to give back to vulnerable communities, to young people who their parents can't afford it. I don't know if I have a greatest fear. I don't get up any day thinking about fear. I know I have dreams and desires and desire to build a solid company, a reputable company, one that is known for making a solid impact, as I've mentioned before, one that is making money, one that is profitable, and one that is taking care of its environment, and one that's taking care of its people. And that is how I feel fulfilled. Definitely how I would feel fulfilled and feel as if we're in business to make an impact. Because a business exists to solve problems, right? A business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well we lock down the store and just call it a day.
Business current affairs you can relate to. Frank, credible discussion. On point with Kalila Reynolds and Dennis Chung. Dissecting the issues, offering solutions to Jamaica's challenges. On Point, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
What motivates me is getting up every day knowing that I'm doing something that's making an impact, that's contributing to something that's positive. We're, in my knowledge, we're building a legacy. We're building a company that has the potential to go big. That motivates me. The potential, the possibility of contributing to somebody's life, to employing others, to contributing to a scholarship, to contributing to the schools. Those things I'm passionate about, and they motivate me each and every single day. My family, they encourage you and motivate you, inspire you to do better and to be the best. We never born with gold spoon, you know, we weren't born rich, but they've always told you that you can be whatever you want to be and to be your best self. You know, and so we're just working to make them proud. And once they are proud, then we can feel as if we've accomplished something for them to feel good about. My favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur, wow. You're more in control of your time sometimes. Sometimes you don't have any time. But again, you have a platform where you can contribute to people's life. Again, my drive, passions, inspiration, and in terms of Brescia, the team, I don't currently sew, I don't stitch. If I try to stitch, I might stitch up my finger them. But a strong team, I'm a very driven individual. I've always been that type of a person who see something, see an opportunity, I'll go for it. I think just the thought of having started this company on our veranda, myself and my brother, and look at where it is now, where we are employing people and we're looking to employ more people and to train more people, where in a year we've done over 1,000 bags, $5 million in sales. We have our first retail arrangement now. We're looking to grow. People have ordered bags from overseas. We've sent people in Scotland back to school in our Brescia bag. We've sent people back to school in the US in a Brescia bag. You feel proud and you feel as if you're making an impact, you're making a mark, you're leaving a legacy. I love to watch football, I love football. So whenever a big match is on, I'm watching it. I love to perform as well. I'm a dub poet, I'm a spoken word poet. So I love the stage, I love to share with an audience. I enjoy doing that. And to share with young people. Get a chance to talk to a group of young people, man, and to reason with them. I enjoy doing that. Love to go out, eat some good food. I love country. I love nature. I love the river. Sometimes I want to relax and just step myself away from town and just drive, go out in the bush and just relax and be at one, you know, with nature. Those are the things that I love. What makes me happy is being alive. What makes me happy is seeing the people around me being happy. What makes me happy is being in front of an audience performing and you see that they're into what you're doing. What makes me happy is coming to work at Brescia every morning and see smiling faces and people enjoying doing what they're doing. Those are the things that make me happy. What makes me happy is when we can partner with a Rotary or a Kiwanis or whatever the service club may be to give back to a school or a community. When we can donate some bags to persons who've done well in school. When we can contribute a scholarship. Right? When we can give back a percentage of our profits to different communities that need it. Those are the things that make me happy. Future plans for the business. All right, so people may know the company as a bag company or a backpack company. We're not only a backpack company. We've started with bags, but we have plans of moving into, and we've started in some ways the gym bags, the duffel bags, the travel bags. We get orders every day for handbags. We're excited about starting a line of handbags for our ladies looking for those wonderfully made Brescia handbags, baby bags. We're excited about expanding the product line. We're excited about offering more to each and every one of our customers. We need more machines in the space so that we can train and employ more people to boost our production capacity. We want to give those persons at home who know they can sew, we want to put them to work. The tailor, the dressmaker who only have some work in back to school season, outside of that season, we want to use your talents, we want to use your skills. We want to be able to say, hey, if you don't have an industrial sewing machine, we can provide that for you. And we get to the raw material, just make sure you get the work done at the highest quality, and we can put it to work in what we're trying to build out called the veranda industry, put communities to work, give people opportunities to make an honest living. And we're looking to foster partnerships with schools right across the island, maybe regionally, maybe internationally. We want to do more exporting. So we want to form strategic partnerships in the diaspora to begin with. We have some cool, some wicked lines working on that we know people will love. Look out for the Roasted, a new bag line. Look out for the Turned. Right, we'll have some interesting things. Look out for technology being incorporated into the products as well as we move forward. Pick right and start. Right, don't overthink it. If you have an idea, you see an opportunity, go for it. If you don't think you have the skill set but you see the opportunity, find somebody to collaborate with. A new mantra of mine: collaborate to be great. Don't think that you have to do it on your own. Right, you don't need to have millions of dollars. No, we didn't start with that. We pulled what we had and we started small on our veranda. Right, you can get it done. I have to say thanks to people at the Branson Center of Entrepreneurship, They've done a lot in terms of giving me a business platform. I have to big up the Jamaica Manufacturers Association as well. People like JBDC, you know, these organizations have been great support. You need support, so find them, get advice, join the programs, join an incubator, put your plans together, put a solid team together, know your strengths, know your weaknesses, and just start.
Jamaican art is among the best in the Caribbean, producing some renowned artists. This week on Cameo, we take a look at a few Jamaican sculptors. Jamaica School of Art educated Raymond Watson is not only a sculptor but an educator. He has had many exhibitions, some of these being Sculpture in the Park and New Horizons.
I went to Jamaica School of Art before it was the Edna Manley College, the Cultural Training Center. And I actually went there to study photography. But I got caught by the third dimension and I specialized in sculpture. Sculpture is a pretty involved process, or processes. You could be working in clay and going to cast it. That means you're going to have to make a mold and so forth and so on. But the whole thing generally starts from drawing. Drawing is where I work on my ideas and test out possibilities before I get into the actual sculptural material. In recent years, though, I've been working more directly in welded steel, largely because it's linear and my drawings tended to be linear anyway. It's almost like drawing in space, so I tend to work it out a little bit more directly with the welded steel. Creativity, I suppose, is more about exploration. It's more about, well, for me, it's conveying ideas. The figure is essentially a medium to convey ideas rather than just representing a figure per se. Sculpture, largely because it's three-dimensional. It takes up space. It also opens doors for public works, which I've done a few of those as well. I remember in 1990, me and my brother put on an exhibition in the park on Trafalgar Road, opposite Petrojam. And that was a kind of eye-opener to a lot of people, the possibilities of public sculpture and what happens. Those are the ones that I think are probably my most obvious kind of successes. Style comes about basically again through that exploration, that development of ideas, that seeking to convey ideas, partly through the process of manipulating the medium, and partly through what your inclinations are. Usually I exhibit, which kind of opens doors. I let people see my work and sell it that kind of way. There are various means, you know. And nowadays there's the internet and all of these other vehicles that you can use to monetize your imagery. Challenges usually is about selling the work, telling the truth, getting it across, getting it out there. Nowadays there are a lot less functional galleries than there used to be, so there's less avenue to get your work out there and get your images out there from that perspective. And I suppose you just have to compensate with other means of getting your things out there, getting it visible, getting people to see them. Very often you have to convince people about imagery, particularly when it's a public work. Convincing them that it will be accepted and that it will convey what the object of the work is supposed to do. There is the development of your creative process and the imagery you want to create and how that develops. I don't know if I could call it a challenge, but it's always a continuous development, and you're trying to explore more possibilities and widen your scope, I suppose, and leave your mark. Well, artists tend to find ways of getting their work out there one way or the other, because you want to do the work. You want the work to fund the rest of the work. So you tend to find ways of getting it out there. It's really about PR, it's about advertising, putting yourself out there, which is not cheap. So you have to find ways of getting your work out there, getting people to know what you're doing and how you're doing it and what is happening in your development, and work it from there. I'm not so sure if I can tell you what we need. We probably need a lot more understanding of how art plays in our whole life, generally speaking, and how it's a kind of mark of where we are and where we've been and how we've lived throughout our lives. And we've always been very diverse in the art that we produce, from self-taught right through highly educated, and all the various kind of niches of the visual arts. When I started out, there were people collected art a lot more than they do now. So now it's almost as if you're re-educating people to the value of art. I could produce anywhere between 20 pieces for the year, I suppose. I really don't know. I've never really counted them. I'm not sure. Very often I'm not working on one piece at a time, so it's kind of hard to judge exactly how it, but they tend to run into months, more or less. My immediate plan is to exhibit. I have a studio full of work I need to exhibit. Long-term plans is pretty much to make sculpture, essentially. Exactly how and when and thing will work out as I go along. Apart from getting an education and learning and research on what sculpture is and what sculpture has been, I would probably advise that you find ways of monetizing your imagery from early, because that is really where the rubber hits the road. You need to live.
As the end of the year draws nigh and the celebrations begin, let us add some magic to the festivities with our BATV Christmas mix. Why settle for blah when you can have fa la 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 la? 60 advertising spots, 10 crawl spots. This $1.6 million package is all yours for only $45,000. Don't wait. Contact our sales team today and take advantage of this incredible offer. Our gift to you. BATV Christmas Mix. Offer valid until December 31, 2018.
This is Weekend Business Report. Economic windfall.
Unsecured loans.
Alleged corruption.
Turn around that man. follows the closure.
If they made this investment,
Brokers will strive to increase revenues.
He sought some answers.
Financial meltdown.
Here are the week's final
Here's
numbers.
Garth.
News Roundup.
Camille, it's back to you.
That's Weekend Business Report with me, Keneal Gale, Saturdays and Sundays.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
I don't create art for the purpose of sale. If my art sells, that's great. I have a day job and I hustle other jobs, which are also in the creative field. But I use my sculptural ability across my fields of what I do. So I take what I've learned to develop other entities and other ways of making money. But for the actual process of making art, that's all for me. That's really all for me. I would say initially, firstly will always do more dark, edgy, slightly controversial. That would be where I would start most of my work. Most people would consider it to be grotesque. In those early years, definitely macabre, because that's what intrigues me. I like bringing beauty to that darkness because I'm not afraid of it. I'm comfortable within the darkness. More recent years, I've been pushing my boundaries, trying to teach myself more the fashion, high fashion, and mixing it with my dark side. Because I'm always saying to students, you can either blend into the art in the world or you can be different and stand out. But you need to figure out what your actual style is and develop it to make you different from everyone else. And so for me, it's always going to be trying to make sure every single piece that I do, anytime that I'm doing any kind of work, I stand out. Well, I teach the students the welding and woodwork as a technical part of the courses. I also oversee the safety inside the department. Outside of that, I am one of the final year advisors to most final year students. Because of the many years that I've been working here, and also a lot of projects that I've worked on, I know I have a lot of information on materials, capabilities of certain things, places to go if you need certain different doohickeys, things made. Because a lot of students, they don't understand the logistics of what they want in here to get it physical. As a youngster, I wasn't really deterred by or concerned with if I was going to get my art out. I just wanted to be creative and produce. After final year, or even in my final year, I did 5 larger-than-life-size pieces in metal. As far as I was concerned, I was going to pack them up, carry them home, and they were just going to be garden pieces at my house. A friend of the family. Colin Hilton, at the time, he ran Guilt Trip. Actually, I brought him down here like the week before the opening, and he loved the work. He bought one like right then and there. And I was like, wow, this is actually something that can actually like develop. Well, my brain doesn't turn off. I wish it would. I wish I had an off switch. I'd wake in the middle of the night and an idea would be, it would wake me and I have to jot it down. Firstly, I'm a technical person. As much as I'm more creative in my process, I'm really technical, so I work out all the logistics first. What's the best way, what's the best material, where can I access certain things, what is going to cost me the less route, cheapest route to get the finished result and still keep the quality high. I love working with new and different materials, so that's also always a challenge. For example, I built a chair out of completely cardboard just to learn about how the strength of cardboard, what it can do. I used the honeycomb of the bee hive to actually use that as the main structure and the idea behind it. I can support about 4 to 5 people on that chair. Anything can be considered creative because, for example, a mathematician is creative with numbers. You as the individual have to realize that every person that you interact with on a day-to-day basis has their own idiosyncrasies, they have their own creative aptitude. They may not see color or understand color like everybody else, right? But that does not mean that they're not creative. They're just creative in their own way. I mean, a person that can sell you a BMW versus somebody who sells you paint in a shop, they're all creative individuals. And the thing is, human beings are creative. We try and figure out every day how to get from point A to point B daily, how to do our jobs, live our life, and still have fun. So I don't think there is a position in the planet or in the scene out there that you can say that somebody is this and they're not creative. In the early years, if you team up with a group of people that each of you have feedback, so you have a friend who is a marketing person at a school, they help you market. Because I've met artists here that they've done that in the early years. Like, they have friends who one will help them with their own graphic work, do their business cards, and they feed work around each other. So they help develop each other. So that's one way as a group, to move as a group. Because again, as we've all learned, you're stronger in numbers. Time has value, and the thing is, it's like an old-time bartering system. I come with a goat to trade for something that you have. You have to look at my goat and value it against something that you value. It's a talking process. We have to come to an agreement that the value of what you have is equal to the value of what I have. And if the value that you have in your brain, you feel that it's more than what I have, we have to talk it out. It becomes a discussion. And you come to that agreement where my intellectual property, my creative mental ability has a value that I've placed on it. You come to an understanding that that's what I place on it. You might have a different decision, but again, we need to discuss it. Being able to wake every day and be myself without consequence has been fun. And personally, as an artist, I've worked on a lot of major projects locally. For example, I was the art director on the America's Next Top Model when it was filmed here. That would have been one of my major successes. But I wouldn't have got that job unless my name out there and the people I work with helped me to get to that point.
Having a corporate event, seminar, awards show, conference, product launch, workshop or expo? Business Access TV is here to showcase your event. Contact our sales department at 908-0919, 906-6357 or 908-2775 for more information. Business Access TV, serious about business.
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me, and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
We're taking you beyond our shores, across the region and around the world. Every week, BATV gives you in-depth reporting on the major stories that gripped headlines in the Caribbean and on the international scene. Join us Sundays for This Week Abroad. Business Access TV, serious about business at home and abroad.
Go for God Family Church.
Today's message is for those of you who thought that Jesus was finished.
Inspiring messages.
I'm here to tell you today that you are excellent. God is excellent.
Empowerment from biblical motivation.
To be glorified means to endow with authority. A woman is a powerful, creative being.
Join Pastor Christopher Morgan and the Go for God team as we go for God.
Started off in children's art programs, and then worked, and then when I chose to go to university, I went to art school. I did my BFA in sculpture, and then after that I worked in various sculpture studios and built work for other artists, and then I decided to, and that exposed me also to teaching. And then once I decided I wanted to teach and integrated teaching into my practice, I went and did my master's in sculpture in the States. Since then, I've been teaching college and university in art programs in the States and in Canada, and now I'm here as a senior lecturer in the sculpture department at Edna Manley. So the instruments that I create are playing with form and function, and referencing his Caribbean, African, some American historical references in terms of how I come up with the design of the instrument. But for the most part, the instruments are based on local materials, and I allow the materials such as wood, goat skin, and the vessel in which it's creating the sound to allow that to help to determine the form as well. So responding to materials from around me. And we're rich in resources here in Jamaica, and the woods and various materials we have. So there's certainly no lack of inspiration from our resources. So I allow the natural resources to have a lot of impact to my creative process. Again, they start with a drawing. Both of these instruments behind me are commissions. The red instrument here is a Ethiopian harp called a krar, and so that instrument's for a musician in New Jersey. This instrument is going to North Carolina in the States. They begin with I harvest my materials directly from the tree, and I cure my wood over a period of a year, and that allows it to dry and not change shape. That's when that aspect, that drying period, is something that's crucial. Because if our material is not processed properly, then it's going to change. And so in terms of the longevity of what's created, the preparation of the materials is crucial. using local materials such as goat skin directly from the farmer, and woods, and just responding to our natural resources here in Jamaica has really allowed my work to mature quickly, because I'm responding to what's directly around me. And that has a monetary response because, you know, the world sees our resources and knows of Jamaica from, you know, from music and culture and art and those things there. So to create something here in Jamaica from natural materials or from our local materials allows whatever we create to have an instant market worldwide. And one thing I tell my students at Edna Manley, where I also lecture, is that don't think that we live in Jamaica. As artists, we don't live in Jamaica, we live in the world, and we have access to the entire world. If you think of just our market being in Jamaica, you're gonna have a hard time putting food in your belly. It's just a reality. The hardest part is the marketing, the business of it. You know, a lot of artists are not necessarily wired to the business aspect of it. You know, ask an artist to create and they're happy, they could do it all day long, but you know, as I say to my students at Edna Manley, creating something is one thing, but it's the context in which you place it that's going to determine its value. You know, you can place an object in a commercial art gallery and it has so-and-so price. You can place it in the Grill Craft Market and it has a whole different situation in terms of market value. So, but it's the same object. The only thing that has changed is context, which is determining the monetary value of the object. So, and that in itself has to be integrated into your creative process. This is number 350 that I've created. And so time has allowed things to become easier. You know, and when you're in need, certainly financial need, you tend to rush. You need to rush to pay your rent. You need to rush to pay JPS. You need to rush to do this and that. But time is the only thing that can take care of it. So I'd say one of my biggest challenges is just being patient. You know, and also what I've realized over time, which is part of the business aspect, is to involve other people into what you do, because you have strengths, but like any business, it has to be treated like a business, whether you're starting a juicy or anything else. You know, you have to involve other people, because you just can't do everything, because to bring people in with various skill sets can make what you do even stronger. So I now have a photographer, and I help have people doing my graphic work, and creation is one thing, but placing it into the context is another thing. And because I market my work worldwide, you have to respond to different markets. Like, I get a lot of sales in Japan. I can't use the same marketing techniques as I do locally, you know. So, and it's learning those different cultures and how marketing functions within them. For my work is the people I've met, you know, and the relationships that I've been able to create, and it really connects you to on the ground level. It connects you on every level, but what I get, I'd say a big part of what I get from what I do is just the personal relationships that I get, and which is referred to as networking. You know, and networking is crucial within any business. Talent is 99% practice, which is true. You know, I know it in music. You know, it takes 10,000 hours of practice to get good at something, and that's just time. That's just sheer dedication. You know. So time and dedication. But one of the biggest things that I confront within art students or people wanting to learn just in general is that you need to come to it with the belief that you can. You know, too often I can't do that, you know. So as soon as you set up that barrier, it prevents you from It prevents you. It just prevents you on every aspect. So if you believe you can, and you have enough passion, and you're willing to put in the time, you can do anything you like.
And that's it this week for Cameo. Even in the midst of our challenges, our creative industries continue to shine. I've been your host, Amita Prasad Webb.
Violence against women is a violation of human rights. Its impact ranges from immediate to long-term physical, mental, and sexual consequences, sometimes resulting in death. It negatively impacts women's general well-being and can prevent us from fully participating in society. Be a better human being. No more violence against women. No more.